Hi, my name is Sarah Armstrong, and today I'm going to be giving a presentation over communicating within a network. So there are two kinds of communication networks. The first is a formal communication network, and this is a management-created network in order to define relationships and specify responsibilities. This can be in the way of rules, uniform, and punctuality. These procedures are often needed to be followed exactly, and employees almost entirely rely on formal communications. The second kind is informal communication network. This is a network that is developed for people to interact within the formal system in order to accommodate their needs. So this is often referred to as the grapevine communication, and that is when one person shares a message and it goes further. So this is often one person shares a message and then they share it with 2 or 3 people, and then they share it with 2 or 3 people until it reaches its final goal within the company. Another possible issue with informal communication network is around the water cooler, as it's called. And this is when employees are wanting to slack off, and instead of doing their jobs, they spend a lot of time gossiping and talking around the water cooler. And so for this, supervisors need to ensure that their employees are not taking advantage. Informal communication networks will occur in almost all formal networks as the employees develop relationships and interact with one another. So here is our second topic, and that's the directions of communications. And here is a graph for a little bit easier understanding. So there are 3 levels: horizontal, upward, and then downward. And so we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail. So first is upward, and this is communication that is sent from lower levels of management to the upper levels of management, often in the form of feedback. So this relies on employees trusting their supervisors. If they don't trust their supervisors, then they're going to give them a fake answer and just tell them what they want to hear instead of telling them how they actually feel about their company and their work environment. The second is downward communication. This is communication that is sent from upper levels of management, such as CEOs or COOs, to lower levels of management. People at the higher levels of management often have more information that needs to be passed down. And this is often best to do in written messages, as spoken messages meanings tend to change as it goes from person to person. So written is typically best in this environment. The last is horizontal communication, and that is communications that is between coworkers. The primary means of this is to achieve coordination in a functional setting. This can be work teams in order to accomplish a goal and to meet a deadline. Our last topic is levels of communication. So our first subtopic of this is intrapersonal, and this is communication within oneself. This is often not considered to be a type of communication to a lot of people because it doesn't have a separate sender and a separate receiver. So our second subtopic is interpersonal. This is communication between 2 people, and the task goal is to accomplish work. The maintenance goal is to feel better about your coworkers and about yourself, and this is often expressed through a supervisor talking to its employees. Our third level is a group communication. This is communication between more than 2 people. It's got a greater achievement output as there are several people working on the same team to complete a task goal. And this is often an example of a department meeting, so everybody is on the same page and everybody knows what's going on. And it could also be an example within a work team, so that everybody knows the deadline, everybody knows what they're supposed to do. Our fourth type is organizational, and that is groups combined in a way that makes large tasks easier to accomplish. It provides structure, and this is typically communication within a company, so that mission statements and goals are passed through everybody. So everybody knows what they're needed to do, and every department and every employee knows what is expected of them. Our fifth and last type of level of communication is public, and this is organizational outreach to the public. And this is typically reaching a lot of people with the same message. This could be advertising through the media. It can be annual reports to its stakeholders. Whenever there is a message that needs to reach several people, this is the way to make that goal accomplished. So that completes our presentation, and I hope that you have learned information about communications within a network. And again, my name is Sarah Armstrong, and it was a pleasure doing this presentation for you.